Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the May 19th, 2025 Planning Board meeting. Can we first please stand for the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we do have some correspondence. John, do you want to talk to us about the the packet we got here on Kear Street?
Sure. Well, the site plan that you have there is, you've seen before, and it shows the desire of the applicant to retain the HVAC units in its present location, which is screened by decorative fencing and landscaping, et cetera. So the application, which I'm assuming that you want to see an amended application for this,
Yes.
will be to retain those and not put them on the roof. He has also submitted to you, I think you can call them as-built, that have equipment now on the roof that supports the restaurant or takeout food, whatever's going in the first floor. So that's supplemental to see what is left in terms of space up on the roof for you to look at. So this stuff just came in, but I wanted to get it to you to know that so you know that it's coming your way. And if you have any questions, or if there's anything that you want me to convey to the applicant between now and the next time that we see them.
Do we have time to take a look at it and work through it?
If you want to work through it and send me what your comments are, I'd be happy to put that into a memo to the applicant.
Thank you.
Okay.
And we also have 2 memos from the building inspector.
Aren't those on for tonight?
Yeah. We can talk to them when we get to them. All right, we have meeting minutes from April 21st, 2025. Any additions, corrections?
No.
None. John?
Nothing here.
I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes of April 21st, 2025.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Move into the regular portion of the meeting. First thing on the agenda, we have Village Traditions. This is a request for the first one-year time extension. Locations 1821 East Main Street. How are you?
How are you guys?
Hello, good.
Nice to see you. My name is Billy Batiglieri. This is Randy Castaldo. We're the owners of 1821 Mohegan Lake LLC. We're here to just get a one-year extension on our resolution for the property on Main Street, on East Main Street.
Any issues?
No.
Anything from the board?
No.
Do I have a motion to approve the request for a first one-year time extension for the Village Traditions?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome.
Have a great night.
You too. Okay, next we have Kerry Honda Solar. This is a public hearing. This is for installation of a photovoltaic solar system on an existing commercial building. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And we have no applicant. All
Let's
right.
table it till later and see if they
We'll
come
table
in.
for later in the meeting.
Yeah.
Next, we have a ZBA referral. This is also for a public informational hearing. Locations 2829 Compound Road, Pogaroli. Do I have a motion to open the public informational hearing?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good evening, everyone. Steve Marino from Tim Miller Associates, here representing Vinnie and Christina Poggioriali for the property at 2829 Compound Road. Proposed is a daycare center on an existing parcel with a small existing single-family home. The applicant is currently applying through the ZBA for variances related to the size of the parcel and setbacks. The existing building predates zoning and is non-conforming. You probably recognize that it's been recently renovated. Applicant's seeking a special permit and some variances. Application is for the construction of a 2,000 square foot addition behind the existing building. Current site plan shows 12 parking spaces with queuing available for dropping off children for up to 11 cars. There's additional room for parking spaces, and I'll talk about that in a bit, if the board feels that they're necessary. The proposed daycare center is actually the relocation of an existing facility in Yorktown that has been in business for more than 12 years and currently serves up to 50 families. Children vary from full day to part day care. Schedule is maintained so that drop-off and pickup of children is staggered both in the morning and afternoon hours. Parents almost never park at the facility. There's a drop-off location at the front of the building where a parent pulls up and a staff member meets the child and walks them inside. There are 12 full-time staff members plus the owner of the facility that work in shifts during the course of the day. Facility is open from 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday. Now, I was last before this board in December, and additional information was submitted following that meeting regarding the existing wetland conditions on the site, mitigation for disturbance to the buffer, and consideration of traffic improvements. We have met with the Conservation Board, and they've provided some comments. A wetland mitigation plan based on the current site plan was also provided. In light of the new state regulations, we also met with DEC on the site to confirm that the existing watercourse does not meet the new definition of wetlands under the new regulations. DEC staff confirmed that it does not, but that there's a wetland just to the south on the town park property that is now regulated by the DEC. So that was flagged by the DEC. It's been surveyed, and there are stakes on the property now showing the extent of the 100-foot regulated buffer from that wetland. That buffer area on the site is the proposed location of the playground up in that kind of southeast corner. There's no grading or anything proposed. It's been for many years maintained as lawn. There's a fence along that edge. So although it is now DEC buffer, other than putting some play equipment there in the area, there's no earth movement or other disturbance to the area is proposed. Yes. At the December meeting, the board also voted to hire consultants for the review of the wetlands as well as a traffic study. Those reviews are pending. I understand those will be coming in shortly. We don't have that since we don't have that information yet. We haven't finalized the site plan, although we expect that generally it's going to follow the same setup as it is, same layout as it is now. Question of number of parking spaces will be addressed once we have an idea of how better the queuing off of Crom Pond Road is going to work and the geometry of the parking lot. The new plans do show a 24-foot wide now curb cut on Crom Pond Road as opposed to the existing curb cut, which is about 16 feet wide. So we're looking ahead to expecting that, expansion of the existing curb cut will be necessary. Bureau of Fire Prevention has also reviewed the plans. They were concerned about the geometry of the parking lot and the difficulty of getting apparatus, but because the new building and the existing building are close enough to Crom Pond Road that it still meets their requirements for service from an acceptable access. So they didn't have any significant comments other than they would like to see the results of the traffic report too and see how that works out. There is a wetland on a watercourse on the property along the western edge of the property. There will be disturbance within the 100-foot buffer for the new parking area. We're proposing that the parking spaces will all be gravel. If we expand to a higher number than the existing 12 parking spaces, those will be gravel or some kind of pervious material as well. We've prepared a mitigation plan for the disturbance to the buffer. Includes an increase in the number of plantings, a post and rail fence along the edge of a 50 to 60 foot wide strip adjacent to the watercourse, and a no mow zone applied, or an infrequent, once a year mow zone applied to that area. There are only a couple of trees on the site that will have to come down. The final number of trees we'll know once we have once the final site plan is completed and we've resolved the question of number of parking spaces. Again, the building is 2,000. The proposed building is an addition to the existing building of approximately 2,000 square feet. And the number of parking spaces is based on the number of employees coming in and out during the course of the day, and with a couple of spaces left over for parents who might want to come inside for some reason at some point during the day but generally, as I mentioned, it's drop off in front of the building and a staff member escorts the children into the building. And that pretty much wraps it up.
Thank you. Anything from the board at this time?
Yes. I have a couple of questions. You said that the parking area is going to be pervious entire?
The parking spaces will be pervious, but the area where the cars will come in, queue up, and then go back out to 202 will not be. That will be asphalt.
Okay.
Yeah, and there is, and I should have mentioned, sorry, thank you, Aaron. I should have mentioned, there is a design for stormwater management already completed, infiltration on the property. And again, that will be modified, updated, pending final site plan.
'Cause I didn't see a mitigation plan in the paperwork. Maybe it was omitted, or did you put one in?
There was one submitted with the original application, original submission materials that are still,
Okay,
Current,
then
but-
we'll go back and get that.
and we have presented that, just, I think I mentioned, we have presented that to the Conservation Board as well, and they
Yeah, you
didn't
said
have
that.
any objections to that. Traffic-wise, one thing I should have mentioned also is our proposal at this time, pending the town's traffic report, is to have right-in and right-out only. We have recognized the potential difficulty of pulling out to make a left turn onto 202 out of the parking lot, or make a left turn into the site on 202. Now that, since there is a traffic light right nearby, would be gaps created for making that left turn in, but our proposal is right in, right out.
You have another alternative where you have two driveways, am I right? That one shows one,
Yeah.
and then there's another plan that you've got, another drawing has I guess an entrance and an exit.
And I'll be very honest with the board, there's been a lot of discussions going on between the property owner and the engineer that I'm not privy to, so I haven't seen that plan, so.
Okay, because I am
but
concerned
certainly
about the
it looks like-
tightness.
It looks, I can see, from what I can see now, it's been submitted, so there is a plan.
I'm concerned about the first alternative, which it seems like it's a very crowded, single driveway.
It looks like coming back out,
Yeah,
that,
That's-
it looks like it'd be a very tight turn to come back out and make that right turn. I see.
I kind of like that one better, but let's hear what the public has to say, I guess.
Yeah, like I say, we've put together some alternatives, but really pending the town's traffic consultant and their suggestions, we haven't really been able to finalize anything. But there are some ideas that are available for all of us to
But that
discuss.
hasn't been submitted yet?
Well, yeah, it's right.
No,
That's the other one, I must have misunderstood you. I thought something additional was gonna be submitted on traffic. Or is
Oh,
that-
no, we're waiting for the town's
Town
consultant.
study.
The town hired their own consultant. We didn't actually prepare a traffic study. It was determined at the December meeting that the town's consultant would prepare it.
So public hearing, anybody from the public want to speak to the matter?
Hi, I'm Howard Gould, 26-year resident. Exactly where is this going now?
If you're on 202, there's an older building. It almost looked historic. That was
Right.
cleaned up. Property was cleaned up probably a few months back. You know, where the
How far
Town
is this
park
from
is-
the diner, so I get an idea?
diner?
Yeah, the 202 diner?
Oh, it's not
Oh,
near there at
no.
all.
Okay, because you,
It's near 132, Howard,
okay, oh, okay, Aaron
near the old church.
Bach mentioned about having one exit and something about having possibly a entrance, like two different,
Yeah.
but right now it's only one in and one out on the same.
Howard, it's next to the 202 ball field.
Okay, thank you. Now I know where it is. But my question is, and I'm getting off topic, so I'll be more specific. If you're going to have one place where you go in and out, I think it's going to be a little more chaotic because I see what goes on, and I'm using the diner as an example. I see the traffic that goes in and out of the diner, just as an example, even though it's not the same area. But you remember that accident with the the motorcycle that time, where the traffic is coming in, traffic is going out,
Yep.
and it's really confusing the way the traffic is, and I'll leave it at that. That's
Thank
my
you.
example. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I would just say that we've recognized from the beginning that access is a major concern as part of this, and I think discussions with DOT, since that is a state road, will also have a lot to do with whether we're looking at one access or two.
Anybody else from the public? Anybody from the board want to add anything? John?
Nothing.
Like I said, we are expecting the traffic report
Yeah.
in short order, and we'll be ready to make another submission. And
This is, the public informational is unique to Yorktown. It's just kind of the first flush to get the public aware of it. All right, there's nothing else at this time. Do I have a motion to close the public informational hearing?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Okay.
much for your time. All right, at this time, we're gonna move out of the regular session. We still see no one here from Curry Honda. We're gonna move into the work session. First on the agenda, we have the par 3 golf course. This is a discussion of site plan amendments, location 795 Route 6.
Good evening.
How you doing, guys?
Matt Behrens, I'm the architect for the application, and this is Carmine DeMaglio. He's the owner-operator. We were here in March. There were a couple of comments that the board made, mostly around the parking. So we've submitted an updated plan to show the turn-in from Route 6, including the turning radius, and also indicated location for some parking signs. We've also indicated at the turn-in, that's a no parking zone. Indicated a detail about the parking striping and also location and sign types for the parking signs, which were discussed to have no parking on that side that's closest to Route 6, and keeping all of the designated spots along the guardrail on the other side. I also indicated the location of the temporary light towers. Those are all portable light towers. I included a spec also. I think that was basically the bulk of the comments. I know there were other comments about the sewer connection. And Carmine's been working with the town engineers, and he can provide an update on that.
If you could.
Joe's here, he's,
Oh.
he's here, so I will let him talk.
Joe Rena, how are you?
As I had explained the last time, to run the sewer line out to the county sewer, we need to get permits from the DEC because we're going under the Shrub Oak Brook. And last week, we met with two of the field people from DEC, and they indicated that we may not need a permit from them. They weren't 100% sure, but they believe that once we clear a certain elevation below the brook, no permit is required, so we're waiting to hear back from them on that. That's where we stand.
That's good news.
Yeah, real good news. All right.
Anything else from the board at this time?
Couple of questions. You were last here, I think, in March?
Yes, Mark.
Okay. At that point, we wanted some information on your hours of operation.
Yep, that was submitted also.
Well, yeah, it was submitted, but I don't think it answers at least my question, because you say we're going to operate several evenings, and that's as much detail as you gave us. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
what are your specific proposed hours of operation at night?
Restaurant's open from 11 to 11, food-wise.
And the golf course?
With the night golf, it's, around the same time, 11, 11:30.
Okay.
If only at the night golf. Normally, it's done by,
Well, I'm concerned about the
8:30.
night golf because I'm concerned about the lights. I don't know if those lights have been evaluated, but I know that when I see them as I come off the Taconic at night, they're bright, and they're in my eyes as I'm driving down the exit ramp getting onto Route 6. I don't think it should be that way. I'm not saying you shouldn't have night golf because that's a business opportunity. I'm concerned about the length of time that you're proposing to have night golf, and I'm concerned about how you're lighting the fields because the light's spilling around outside, obviously. If I didn't see it in my eyes, I wouldn't bring it up. but I think you need to put in your application the specific hours you're looking for, and I think the lighting needs to be evaluated from those purposes. The other question I think we had, I'm not sure it was answered, if I missed it, do your drawings show the location of the existing subsurface treatment?
This drawing does not, no, it's been filed and approved, I think.
Because that was an issue we had also.
The septic.
Septic locations, we asked for that in March also. But those are my main concerns, the hours and the nighttime, the lighting effect. Because I think 11 o'clock at night to light that up is late.
I have a question
What
about parking. You're showing it on one side of the access road?
Yeah.
But usually when you go there, it's on both. People are parking up.
Of course, there's no signs there, that's why we're talking about, I mean, no parking sign.
Other than just putting up a sign.
Yellow stripe, I mean, no parking, I mean. That's all you could do.
Clearly indicated, right? Should be clear.
Well, not only clear, there's gotta be a consequence. I happen to enjoy it.
No, I'm just saying, but
went there and
I
just
can't
saying,
police it.
I've never been there
I'm not
when
gonna
that
police it.
hasn't been
Wasn't
blocked
filled up.
on both sides.
I mean, you know, it's gotta be policed, I guess.
John, is this road still under the jurisdiction of the DOT?
I'm not sure of that. I'm not sure if it is or not.
Does that prevent us from, or the police department from enforcing if there's no, if?
Well,
this
no
was to-
parking, I
Right.
think, if our police are to enforce it, I think it needs to be voted by the board that
You'd have
there's
to
no
do a
parking on
resolution
that
to
side of the
town
road.
board,
Yeah.
Get a no parking area approved by your board.
If they have jurisdiction, they can do that.
And
Then
the
they
town,
could-
and the town board's concerned about that because of the turn radius and for emergency vehicles, so.
Right.
We're on board with that, we actually spoke to the applicant as well, actually I did, about that, and so, the applicant's on board with the no parking on one side. So I think if it requires a resolution from the town board, I can't speak for everybody else, but I don't see that being a problem. And then, yes, the police would do enforcement, just as they do enforcement by, I don't want to say Solaris, but, there, because there's no parking across the street as well. So they're routinely, the law enforcement's routinely there giving tickets for parking.
Yeah, our police department's excellent.
Yeah.
Without question. It's, the process and procedure would be, we ask, obviously,
And
as part of his
we've shown
application.
it on this plan, there's
Yeah.
several locations of those signs along that side of the road.
Right, it would have to be, but on the town's end, a resolution would have to be put forth. I'm sure it
We
would
would
come
have to
from,
put in as a recommendation.
Right.
Back to the board, town board.
right, and you got, the planning department would probably write that resolution. The police department would review it.
Yeah.
Well, Chairman, you're absolutely correct. If we don't make it legal, then the sign really means nothing,
Nothing,
and we
right.
can't really enforce anything, and if you give a parking ticket, it's not gonna be enforceable either.
Right.
So you're 100% on point with that.
But that's something I think the town would have to take on task if this is to move forward. And of course, Counselor, if all this is in compliance with the original agreement with the town. So I think there's a resolution to the parking situation, it sounds like. We have to look into the lighting. Fantastic news about the DEC and the sewer line, because that, again, was my biggest concern. Again, the business plan, I think, needs to be
Detailed.
detailed
Okay.
a bit,
I have a
and again,
question.
yeah.
I mean, the lights you were talking about were facing Route 6? I mean, basically, you're saying they were in your face.
Well,
And you can see them on the course when you get off at that exit.
No, I'm just saying, because if I switch, like,
That-
try to
yeah, and I think that's-
direct
Set
them.
up like a baseball field at night, or
I mean, we
that's
we
what it's
evaluate
all about.
lights on site,
Right.
lighting on site plans a lot. And if they're focused down, if they're the proper, technology there, then that's fine. I don't know if the temporary lights are the best lighting fixtures to use for that purpose. Maybe a different kind of temporary lighting might be necessary. Or
Glow-in-the-dark golf balls.
that too.
We do have those.
But I think if you
Yeah, switch
spun
rate.
them and did it in a way that it wasn't, we don't want the light obviously spilling off onto Route 6 or the Taconic, causing any kind of potential hazard.
No, absolutely, I agree.
And just going back to the road, we're gonna have to figure out if it's a town road. I don't believe it is, but we'll have to address that. We'll have to look into it.
Yeah, I think the town still, and we did it in Greenberg recently, where you, on state roads, can put restrictions. I'm sure they would not have any issues with that.
Well, yeah, I also think, when I'm looking here at the area that you enter onto the road, and we were concerned about the turning radius, which I think still needs to be looked at a little bit. It seems as though what you need there, for instance, is some sort of striping, you know, like a do not block the box, indicating you can't park here, or else it's just gonna be ineffective. Given that, I think it follows that you should probably have all of these parking spaces actually striped, so that the more lines there are, the more control there is in the minds of people that are parking there, rather than nothing to indicate that there's some order that has to take place here for the place to be safe, so.
Right.
So-
I thought that was the intent, right?
Yeah, well, it's actually indicated on there, John.
All the lines are still, actually still there.
Yeah.
Some of them
And
are,
I will propose, I would have my guys stripe it. If
Well,
we have
again,
I'm just saying if you.
Let's make sure we
Yeah.
can do that.
We
Right.
gotta make sure,
Right, because they are still faint and you can
Right.
see them, that's what we actually went by.
if this all goes as it's shown now and it moves forward, obviously, someone's gonna have to go in there and clean that right away, right? Because things are coming into the right away now. It would have to be cleaned, painted, and in compliance with whatever plan is proposed, or approved. And that would obviously be on the applicant.
Not a problem.
And then, I'd just like to talk to you a little further about the turning radius. Usually it's a diagram with a certain,
showing the size of the.
the size of the truck, so we know what corners it needs to miss, so. I think you're gonna have no problem providing what you say, but it's just as a matter of course to have it on the drawing and in the record.
Again, everything here is devil's in the details.
No, I got you,
We-
yep.
You know, I think it was, you know, it was approached the way you would, but we need, you know, again, for
Right.
purposes of resolution and enforcement, we need the detail,
No problem,
all right?
Yep.
Good news about the sewer.
that's good news.
Thank you, Joe
Okay.
Arena. All right, so I would work closely with
Yep.
John and Robin to get those details hammered out,
Perfect.
and we hope to see you soon.
Yep, thank you, guys.
All right, take care. Okay. Next, we have Lowe's Rooftop Solar. This is a discussion of site plan. Location is 3200 Compound Road.
Good afternoon, everyone.
How are you?
My name is Miguel with Powerflex. I'm just here to introduce our Lowe's rooftop solar project. We're looking at a 753.4 kW DC system, 780 kW on the AC side, about a 7.8 degrees tilt to the roof surface area. Currently, we are in the midst of Con Edison impact study. We provided a elevation drawings that should showcase the street view from the perimeter of the property itself. As you can probably tell, the parapet wall from the Lowe's building itself covers about height of minimum 3 feet. The solar array itself on the array section is about less than a foot, so visibility is very limited there. Everything is going to be mounted, as you see there, mechanical attachments.
Just want to hit pause for 1 second.
Yeah.
And I think when the project was done, clearly, you can't see anything from the ground. I think one of the issues we had moving forward was the Taconic State
Right.
Parkway.
Right.
And they have a view shed that they're very protective of. I know that was when we went first from the Costco to the Lowe's, was one of the struggles we had as a board, was try to prevent that view shed. So I drive past this every day. You have a very pristine roof surface. And now we're gonna have solar on it. It's gonna be ground mounted. It's not gonna be at an angle. It's gonna be flat.
The rooftop itself,
Solar.
parapet- solar itself, it will be tilted about 7 degrees
All
off
right.
the roof surface.
So there will be a tilt to it. So you will see that from the Taconic State Parkway view shed. Is it, on that end, is that, do we have to be concerned about that?
Well, why don't we see?
You
how
see the
much-
roof now.
Yeah, but if you're looking at the roof from the Taconic and you're driving 40, 50 miles an hour, you're gonna hit a tree if you're looking at a roof.
Well, it was, I would agree with you. This was they have their own regulations.
Only Willie could put
Yeah,
it just
but
like that.
You just can't penalize the applicant.
I'm not saying we're penalized. I said we're trying to cross the Ts and dot the Is. Because I know we were held to task on that.
Yeah,
Does that even come under our jurisdiction?
It does as our approval.
yeah. You know, and the special permit language also talks about when it's on the roof, you know, if it's not visible, then there's no issue. So
Right.
this may be visible here, and I think this sight line diagram indicates that it will. I'm not sure where that figure, the 6-foot figure, is representative to be standing. Is it on the parkway? Is in that
Yeah, for one
Diagram?
of the elevation drawings, it would be assumed on the parkway.
assumed on the
yeah.
parkway? Well, so we should know, and I'm sorry if it's already in the package, but we should know where that site section is cut from, so we know exactly where the guy is standing, so we can make a little evaluation. And I think it'd probably be a good idea to have some photos, if they could take them, so you get a better sense of what you're looking at from when you're in your vehicle,
Yep.
although going 50 or
More.
more. But nevertheless, you are right, you can see
Yeah.
the roofs. I've seen it many times.
As one member of the board, clearly when we have a solar application, this is the kind of application you want to see, where you have it on the roof. Again, I just know we have to do our homework on it, because I remember it was very, very long hearings in the beginning with the first application, and, you know, we had to float
Balloons.
from the park, I remember.
Yeah.
There was all these things that, you know, outside of agencies, outside of the town, were very concerned. So just, John, if we could look into that personally, as one member, think we're gonna see solar, that's the place you want it.
Yeah.
We just have to make sure we do our homework on that view shed from the county.
Okay. Would renders help with just viewing that from that angle?
I think a
Yeah.
profile or something, yeah, I
Yes,
would
I
work
think so.
closely, yeah, with John and Robin to see how you'd work that,
Okay.
all right?
Okay.
Anything else on this application? It's pretty straightforward.
I like it.
I like it too. Just gotta make sure that the Taconic people are happy. All right?
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have AMS LLC. This is formerly known as Contractors Register. This is discussion of site plan. Location is 800 East Main Street. How you doing?
Good. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Mark Weingarten. I'm a partner in the law firm of Del Bello, Dinelli, Weingarten, Wise, and Weicker. It's my pleasure to be here tonight representing AMS Acquisitions LLC in connection with its proposal to redevelop the 35.5-acre site located at 800 East Main Street, Yorktown, formerly known as the Contract Register site. I'm joined tonight by Ryan Sutherland, who you'll hear from in a moment, the Director of Design by AMS. We also have with us our architect, Seelan Pather from Beinfeld Architects, who will take you through the plan. SLR Site Design Consultants, our landscape architect, Jason Williams, and also the principal of SLR, the civil engineer, Joe Rena, is here as well. We will give you as long a presentation as you like, but we will go through it quickly, show you some slides, and be available for questions.
Thank you.
We commenced this project more than 2.5 years ago, in October of 2022, by filing a petition to rezone the property from OB Research Lab and Office District to RSP2, and to increase the permitted height of the buildings from 45 to 55 feet. The requested change to the height was limited to only large tracts of land such as this one, more than 25 acres. This zone change was approved by the town board on May 6th, and it now permits AMS to proceed with its plan to develop 180 senior apartments in a beautiful new neighborhood in the now vacant office park. The plan calls for the demolition of the 63,000 square feet of vacant office buildings and replace it, as I mentioned, with 180 luxury multifamily residences restricted to owners 55 years of age and older. We actually studied 61 bedrooms and 122 bedrooms, but the plan you're going to see is slightly smaller with 74 one-bedrooms and 106 two-bedrooms, so a little bit less of a bedroom count when they went ahead with the site plan. The rezoning process included a full environmental review with the town board acting as lead agency. A DEIS was scoped and finally accepted with significant public participation. The FEIS was also published and filed, and the town board adopted an environmental finding statement prior to its vote to rezone the site. You may recall when we appeared a long time ago, the first time we were looking at this in context of the rezoning, that our original plan had called for 250 apartments and townhomes. However, during the course of the environmental review, it was determined that an alternative plan, smaller, 180 age restriction apartments located in the previously fully disturbed areas of the site was a superior plan. The plan preserves 26 acres of open space, which is more than 70% of the site. The revised plan continues to represent a significant reinvestment to repurpose an outdated and vacant office campus into a beautiful new neighborhood. The revised plan also reduces the original plan of site disturbance, slope disturbance, parking requirements, impervious areas, and tree removal by concentrating the vast majority of the construction to the already disturbed areas of the site. We believe this project has significant benefits for the town. It will return the vacant site to productive status. It will generate significant net property tax benefits for both the town and the school district, with limited generation of school children because of the senior residences. It will create numerous construction jobs and activities. And finally, and very importantly, it will create a more diverse housing stock here in your community, a place for empty nesters to downsize and relocate from their single-family homes, yet still be able to be nearby in a place worthy of their senior years. Snowbirds, for example, particularly love the ability to own an apartment nearby the home where they raise their family while spending the winter elsewhere. Divorcees have a place to live nearby the family home, making visitation and staying connected much easier on the family, and even more importantly, bringing people with income to your community, to your village, to shop in your community. This will develop and strengthen the remaining commercial base of Yorktown. Those are the things we shared with the town board. We believe they're the reasons that they went ahead and rezoned the property. And now what we'd like to do is Ryan's going to take you through some images of other buildings and other communities that AMS has been building in the nearby area to give you a sense of the type of projects that they build, and then we'll walk you through the site plan and the specifics of the engineering and the landscape. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ryan Sutherland, Director of Design with AMS Acquisitions. We're a real estate development firm out of Fort Lee, New Jersey. We specialize in market rate and active adult luxury rentals in the tri-state area. We have approximately 3,000 units in our pipeline in Westchester County, but what I want to focus on tonight is our brand Sylvan Woods that we launched last year. We completed 100 apartments in Howell, New Jersey, and then recently in January of this year we finished 125 apartments down in Evesham, New Jersey. I just wanted to show you a taste of what the product actually is for our active adult apartments, just through some completed images of the exterior and interior of the building. Go to the next slide, Joe. So this is down in Evesham, New Jersey, 124 apartments, very similar spread of 60% two bedrooms, 40% one bedrooms. The apartment community is meant to be a community where residents come together and through facilitation of staff, they form their own internal communities and have activities that are suited to an active adult lifestyle, whether it be a gardening club, a card club, any host of amenities that can be utilized on an outdoor patio or pool area, an interior sports lounge, all of the above. Next slide. So one thing that we like to do as a brand for Sylvan Woods is focus on utilizing natural materials on the inside and out, just to kind of get a sense of calm wellness when you walk in the building, and also have some luxurious touches added throughout as well. And we work with our architecture team to really amplify that design experience within the building. This is within the lobby adjacent to our mailroom of this project. Next slide. So this is the lobby when you walk in. You have a concierge desk on your left. You walk forward, you have a great room with a double height space and a bar area that's actually connected to a catering kitchen, so you can have events for residents throughout the year for different various activities. Next slide. You go up the stairs. To the left, you'll see in the next slide a community library looking downstairs into the great room, and then beyond you have a reading room and a movie room in the back right corner. Next slide. It's the view of the library. This is the sports lounge or game room. We often see residents want to book card nights, play pool, have events for sports games and things like that. We like to balance the activities within the building, and this has been a really well-received space by tenants so far. This is just a movie room we have as well. And then we often like to put in a maker space or art studio within the building. All these amenities we'll have within our project in Yorktown, and probably a bit more because the project size is a little bit larger than in Evesham. And then this is just a dining area that we have. And what we'd like to do is create flexible spaces. You see on the left of this image, there's doors that open up, and you can expand the event space and dining area into another room. So you can have larger events for the community to gather in one night. And then we have a wellness suite, often with a gym. And then if you go to the next slide, we have a yoga room that often connects to the outside, so you can have indoor-outdoor yoga experiences. And then just a view of the apartments. Again, light and bright. We like to have oversized windows, luxury finishes, designer kitchens, often with islands, flexible seating, a true kind of downsizer experience. So I'll go to our next project coming online. This is actually in Buchanan, under construction right now. This is 148 units, the same product, Sylvan Woods. This is actually fresh off the press, so you're probably one of the first people to see this, but we are slated to open next year around this time, and we have a couple of construction images here to show you. So one thing I'll mention is at AMS we build all of our low-rise projects, so you have development and construction working together through the life cycle of the project. So it's going very smoothly there. I'm sure you can talk to the village about how things are going. I'll turn it over to Sealand Architect.
Thanks, Joe. Can you switch to the next one? Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Sealand Putham. I'm a principal at Beinfeld Architecture. It's a pre-app, so I'll be concise, but please stop me if you have any questions. So the first slide shows the site that's in the sort of grayed out white area. It's an inherently beautiful site overlooking the valley. It's steeply sloping, but we'll get into that in a bit. The site is bound by the Taconic Highway and Taconic and Highway 6, but there's definitely a feel of retreating into the woods as you come off East Main Street and drive up into the site. If you've been there, you feel like you're getting away from those two busy roads. Sure, next one. So it's early days in the design, but we drew inspiration from the site. We thought we could make this look as if it were a lodge built into the woods, albeit a modern lodge in the woods. We looked at inspiration that included Adirondack hotels and homes, and drew some inspiration from that vernacular. You see that here. There's a grand entry porch at the bottom. There's a gable end. Maybe those half timber details are metal and not wood. There's two towers on either side. We'll curate those to make them look like they frame this facade. And in this particular view, you see the entrance to what Ryan was describing, the amenity space underneath that porch. And in this particular view, you'd be at the top of a hill looking through the glass. And once you get through, you'd look over the valley. So hopefully a dramatic entry into the building, and we'll repeat that at the bottom also. But this, again, early days, but this is the direction we're going in. Materials here will be clapboard siding, vertical siding, stone base, asphalt shingles on the roof to look like actual shingles, but you get the picture that we're trying to create this architecture that's evocative of this vernacular. Next slide, please, Joe. So we'll keep developing those elevations. The biggest takeaway from this slide is that for various reasons we are building our buildings over the currently developed site. One of those reasons is that the road coming up and the parking fields around the site already address the topography. So that benefits the way that you organize the site. The buildings already address the topography. They are slightly sunken at the bottom. In the south building and the north building sits high up, but they link to each other. Well, we will link to each other, but they form a wrap around a central courtyard. So the buildings inherently address the site now and address the grading, so we followed that clue and arranged our buildings as such. There's also an inherent drama to the way the buildings are set up in that you come up, looking up at the south building, and you're dead-on access with its entrance. Then you loop around to the north building, and you're dead-on access with the north building entrance. So again, if you have those two entrances, you come through it and you look into the courtyard, shared courtyard, and you're looking up and down through these two hopefully dramatic amenity spaces and a dramatic courtyard, which Jason will explain. Go to the next one, Joe. So this is the landscape. We'll get into that, but Jason, our landscape architect, will go through that. Next. So just a bit about the building and how it's organized. This is the south building. You come in, there's a smaller amenity at the bottom. The white portion of the back basically tells you that this building is built into the ground. So here's the first level, and I'll explain it to you in a section in a bit, but here's the first level as you come in. And next slide, Joe. Then you take a step up, and now you're even with the courtyard at the back, but it's one floor up in the air. That's a higher amenity. We make that amenity a 2-volume space. Again, you walk in, 2-volume space is dramatic. It looks through to the courtyard beyond. Next one, Joe. So this is one of the 2 floors that are actually coplanar between the 2 buildings. Now the experience turns to the north side. You come in on access with that building, look through that courtyard, and like I said, look through the amenity, through the courtyard, over the building, and hopefully a view over the valley. So again, the building is inherently set up to be dramatic in this beautiful setting. Another set of floor plans that are coplanar, just basically the way they're appointed. They're double-loaded corridors, a mix of 2 bedrooms and 1 bedrooms. They'll have trash chutes, elevators, so a high-end residential product. You'd never have to leave the building to take care of anything you need to take care of when you're on site. And that's the upper level now that rises above the southern building. And the section is probably the most telling if you can read it, right? Here you can see what I was speaking about, the upper entrance on the north side, looking through that amenity over the courtyard. If you arrive from the south side, looking up through the amenity, up at the courtyard, a common courtyard that we're grading and taking advantage of what's there already. And what that shows, it looks like there are 2 high roof elements, but really that's taken to the highest point, that gable end that you saw in the rendering that I first showed you. That's what that section is taken through, and you can see that. We intentionally took the section through that so you can see that the height meets the 55 feet. That when you measure the midpoint of that building, it's still 55 feet. But you can see that the building's coplanar for 2 stories, and our intent is to link them with bridges on the ends. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Jason Williams, Senior Principal Landscape Architect with SLR Consulting. So with regards to the landscape, we're really playing off of the architecture and the existing woodland that surrounds the site. As you can see from the images, these are precedent images that really explore what we're looking to do, which is pretty simple based on the existing landscape, which is just this dated, highly maintained commercial office building. So a landscape that's full of native plants, really soft, that ties into the surrounding ecological community, which is an Appalachian oak hickory forest. Next slide. So this naturalized soft landscape is combined with elements of stone and wood, very simple geometries, intimate gathering spaces, a diversity of different soft paving materials, a lot of impervious materials. We're creating pedestrian view sheds throughout the entire area, which currently doesn't exist. Even down to our site lighting, which has a use of wood poles with luminaires that have this very agrarian design style to them. Next slide. So as I mentioned, according to DEC, the surrounding woodland is a Appalachian oak hickory forest. And so what we're looking to do is essentially bring that woodland elements down into the site close to the building. So things like red oak, white oak, black oak, pignut and shagbark hickory, red maples, hop hornbeams, witch hazels are all part of our landscape plan. Next slide. Along with understory trees like service berries and dogwoods. The shrub layer, low bush blueberries make up, for an example, our parking lot islands, very different than what you see typically in islands, along with aspen trees. A lot of natives and diversity. Next slide. Our herbaceous palette increases pollinator species, but again, plays in with that really soft, almost alpine landscape. If you know different species, all drought-tolerant species. We're not looking to plant things that require heavy irrigation. And next slide, going down to our native grasses and ferns for shady areas. Really looking to bring natives onto the site and create a lot of color and textural diversity.
Thank you. Joe, did they save the best for last?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about the boring stuff. And one of the points that I want to emphasize is, and to repeat what Mark said, how we're staying within the existing development footprint. So, and we're going to be greatly using the existing infrastructure. So starting with the entry road, which comes off a cul-de-sac at the end of Old East Main Street. We're going to be widening the existing entry road to provide clear access for the emergency vehicles to get into the site by creating a fire lane along the center line. So we're creating an additional lane, and that lane is going to be open cell structural material, able to support heavy vehicles, and it's going to allow grass to grow, and it's going to appear to be a grass median. There's going to be accessible curbing, so a fire truck or an ambulance, if needed, can travel that and make its way up into the site. Once into the site, the existing loop road is going to remain intact. We're going to continue to use that to circulate around the site. And currently, around the existing building, there's 4 parking lots. There's one to the south, one to the west, north and east. The westerly one and southerly one are going to remain totally intact as they are. One to the north is going to be expanded, and the one to the east is going to be reduced in size. There's a offset parking area to the north side of the access road, the ring road, and that's going to be removed, and that will become an amenity area, which is yet to be detailed what that's going to be, but that's going to be an amenity area. And as stated earlier, the proposed buildings are going to overlay over the existing buildings, although an expanded in footprint, but it's going to cover that same area. Therefore, going back to my original point, we are staying within what has been already developed, and we're not expanding that, other than the access road, because we need to widen that, but everything else is staying within what's existing. And similarly with the utilities on site, there's currently a public water main which runs up the access road and loops around the building. It's a closed loop. the water department has asked us to tie that in at another point to create redundancy of supply. So we're gonna run a leg of water main down the hill to the east side of the site rather, and tie in at the cul-de-sac where there's an existing main there. And again, that'll provide redundancy. The existing drainage infrastructure, for the most part, is remaining. We'll be removing some as part of the work to be done, but we will be also expanding that. Currently, the stormwater discharge from the site goes to 2 existing stormwater basins. You could see they're up to the upper right, the 2 shaded areas that, you know, have an odd shape to them. We're going to be resizing those and retrofitting those to current standards, meeting all the water quality and attenuation requirements. The existing sanitary sewer collection system is going to remain in place. That currently goes to a pump station, which is east of the cul-de-sac. It's a town pump station. It services this site currently and some of the homes along Old East Main Street. So as part of this project, the project sponsor is going to install a new pump station, new wet well, new pumps, new controls, a new generator to accommodate the flows from this site and again, those additional homes that are adjacent. As far as other utilities go, there's, you know, underground electric that runs up to the site that has adequate capacity for this project. And again, we're totally staying within what's been already developed.
Thank you.
That'll be the end of it. We don't want to filibuster you. We know this is just the start. We'll answer whatever questions you have. But suffice it to say, you have like around a 50-page finding statement.
Right.
There are significant traffic improvements, a couple of traffic lights, widenings, queuing areas, et cetera. I'm sure you may need to go into that. We've been through that with the town board. Those things all exist. The storm, you know, we're touching on it, but again, if you become familiar, we're happy to answer whatever questions you have with those particular items, each of them being addressed through an environmental review process. And there are significant conditions and mitigation measures which are already imposed on this project as part of that 2.5-year project before we get to you. So that's the end of our presentation. And any questions?
I gotta say, as one member of this board, I think I've been volunteering probably over 20 years here now. This is one of the nicest looking
Yeah, I want to move in.
presentation. I didn't want to say it, but really just very well put together, very well thought out.
Yeah.
The landscaping, everything just looks so professionally done. And just what a very nice application. I think we'll enjoy digging into the details. I know, as one member of the board, the one concern I had when this first came to us was the traffic. Again, we'll dig into those details. But really, just what a very well thought out and well put together presentation.
Thank you for that, but I should mention too, we are currently still waiting for certain DOT responses on the things that the town board has required. We don't have those answers yet. Yeah, well, we're pushing, but just so you know, that's not yet finalized. We do have all the requirements that are from the town, and we're pushing to get them done because we don't want to have to make changes, but we don't have those responses just yet.
Well, I guess
We'll work
as
through
a
the
group,
process
everybody will
with you.
work together through it.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Can we
Very,
get,
very nice presentation.
I do have a quick question. I'm sure the detail is on there. How many parking spaces are there?
It's a little bit over 1.5, and I think it's 272, roughly. One of the sheets there has a
Yeah.
zoning table for you, but it's roughly 272, and it's slightly above one and a half per unit, which actually, now that we have 74 one-bedrooms, it's somewhat overparked to some extent. But we have lots of parking area there because it was there for the office park, so we're just taking advantage of what's already there.
And everything's on grade, no underground parking at all?
Yeah, now, you may have seen an original plan when we were fitting much more onto the site, but it's not necessary any longer.
God bless you.
Excuse me.
When you say the parking is on grade, and I haven't been on this site in a long, long time, But is parking at an elevation so that the people who are in the parking lot have easy access to the building?
Oh, yes, it's not, it goes up to the top and it goes down, but you bring up a point, we would certainly welcome, as we did with the town board, a site visit from
I
the
think we
board.
should
And
go
be happy
again.
to schedule
Yeah.
that with you and walk you through the site and get you comfortable with it.
I think we should do
Yeah,
that.
we set that up.
Sure.
Is the EIS available for us to look at on the town website?
We'll put it in
You
a
put-
Dropbox for you, so you have ready access to it, okay?
I would suggest
You
you
haven't done it
start with the
already.
finding statement, it's quite a large document. The EIS.
I'm interested, yeah, okay,
Anything else from the board at this time?
not at this point.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Very nice looking project. All right, next, at least, we have a town board referral, 1552 Payne Street. Request for a stormwater management permit to construct a single-family home on a 20,000 square foot property in the R110 zone. Nice looking project.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Pat Costabile. I'm associate with Stephen Costa Engineers.
I had no idea. I think it was Ian. Sorry.
Sorry.
Something went off up here. Oh.
Anyway,
Is it on?
Yeah, we're good.
My name's Pat Costabile. I'm with Stephen Costa Associates Engineers. Our proposals, we want to create a one-family residence, very simple, raised ranch type style residence on an existing lot. Family-owned area. They actually own 3 spots there at the property. And
What 3 spots?
the lot on the corner and the one right next to it on the right.
So this is a lot in the middle
In the middle.
of common ownership.
Well, they're owned separately by different members of the family, yeah.
What about the garage?
The garage
Is
is,
that part of your application?
no, that's
So
separate.
it's a separate.
It's on a separate
so
lot.
Only the lot in between the level garage and the corner lot.
Yeah, so here's the corner
what's the
lot,
location?
here's the proposal, here's the garage.
So what does the garage serve at present, or in the recent past?
Just automobile storage
For whom?
For whom?
for the owner of the corner lot.
I see, okay. So these 3 properties have been basically serving a main residence and this barn, and
Yeah, for
and
many,
the
many,
open space in between, right?
many, many years.
Yes, understood.
That garage looks like it's ready to fall down.
Yeah, we had a proposal a few years back to renovate the garage, but they didn't go ahead with that for one reason or the other. But that's probably a plan for the future.
Can you talk about the size of all of these 3 lots?
So they're all about 10,000 square feet. The one in the middle is 10,000. The one in the corners, I believe, is the same, and the one on the end is a little bit under 10,000.
Is there any of these 2 or 3 in common ownership of one entity?
No.
So there's 3 lots, 3 separate owners?
Yeah, yeah. I believe the father and then the 2 sons.
I see.
So how do you get 20,000 square foot? Building
20,000
lot.
square foot required, the lot's 10,000 square feet.
Oh, okay.
So are you applying for a variance?
So we haven't been told that. Building department didn't write us a denial letter for that area yet. So that I can't answer right now. If you look at the area, there are no lots there anywhere near 20,000 square feet.
Right, but the requirement for many decades is 20,000 square feet. So,
The garage at the end appears to cover almost the entire the entirety of that lot.
Which one is that, 44?
In terms of the setbacks, and I noticed that the house across the street has expanded its driveway to enable parking of, I would say, a good 6 cars.
The house across the street?
Yeah.
Well, we have nothing to do with the
You
house
have
across the
nothing to
street.
do with that?
No.
We'll check.
And the garage is 44 feet on the right-hand side and 39 feet in the back, 30 feet in the front.
The setback?
Yeah,
Is that the barn? Is that what the barn is?
yeah, the barn,
That's referred to on the drawing as a barn, right?
Correct.
Okay.
The existing barn.
3-car garage.
But it's, I just want to make sure I got the
Yeah.
right structure.
Just to make sure it's the same thing, sure.
So you're using Cultex, is that what is going on in the backyard and the front yard?
correct.
So 5 in the front, 6 in the back, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
So this would first need a,
Well, I think it needs I think it's going to need a variance.
right,
Unless it has one already.
okay.
I think they were probably used as contiguous lots for single family
Yeah.
at one point. They've probably been separate lots since, many, 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 many years.
Okay.
But the zoning did change also many years ago, not as long ago, but, so I think it's gonna need a variance as a matter of course. Anything that we see in this neighborhood goes for a variance typically, that's
Yeah.
what we're seeing them for, so.
So we would the building department refer to the ZBA, or should we refer to the ZBA?
We can't refer it, but we can we can put a memo back identifying this issue,
So
I think.
I would think that the town board wouldn't be in a good position to move forward with an approval
Yeah.
without a variance.
Right.
Right, okay, so that's, I think, the answer to that.
There you go.
So I'm gonna say it again, the building department reviewed the plan, sent back objections. There was no mention of a variance in the objections or a denial or anything else.
Is the plan approved?
No, not yet, because they were waiting for this.
The building department.
Yes.
So I think what we're seeing here is it's an undersized lot, which we've seen a bunch of in the area,
Sure,
which would require a variance to build on the smaller lot.
understood.
Unless it's something we're not aware of that took place in the past, it sounds like that would be the first course of action.
Okay,
So I
So-
think,
If it goes to the zoning board, and it comes back to us anyway
Right.
for further review and for further recommendation. So if there's any question, information, we could get it now,
Yeah.
perhaps. If anything
So-
comes to mind.
Do you have a set of comments that you'd like us to put into written form for the town board,
Besides the variance?
besides the variance?
I think like the other public, take a ride through the neighborhood again.
I want to see,
Pull it up.
you drove by already? Did you go by it?
Yeah. And nobody's gonna buy a nice new house next to a fallen down 3-car garage.
well, it's for the,
So
it's for the,
obviously,
it's for,
it's
it's
either
not,
gonna
it's
come
for the
in
son.
That's not our,
For another
They're building it
issue,
for them, so they're right here.
so it's not.
Yeah, how you doing?
So do you want to take individual
Yeah,
site visits and,
Yeah.
and then in 2 weeks, finish the comments?
yeah, I
Yeah,
think that
okay.
would be appropriate. So we'll take a ride out there and look at the area. Obviously, we've seen applications like this before.
Sure.
Again, this would be something that would, again, unless it's something that wasn't brought to our attention.
And not that I know of either. yeah, so,
Understood.
Yeah.
So, because the lot is smaller than the zoning, require another board's approval. We'll take a ride out, take a look, get our comments together, so that when it gets to that point, they're ready to go on their end.
Great.
Okay?
Yeah,
You mentioned the
absolutely.
building department had objections?
Yeah, they had an objection, they wanted a res check, and they wanted this approval.
Let's check this for
From
the energy
engineering.
code. Yeah.
ResTrek is the energy
Yeah,
company.
so I don't know, that wouldn't apply to the lot.
Right. All right.
Is it a modular home, or it's,
No, it's from scratch.
It's on municipal service, sewer and water.
yeah, there's an easement for the sewer right next door.
Oh, this is on sewer and,
Yeah.
Sewer's right there, right next door, so
The
we're gonna
easement
tap
runs
into
through
that.
the side of
And
the
the
property.
water's right in the front.
okay.
All right, so we'll take a site visit individually,
Great.
and, we'll get our ducks in a row, and then,
And I'll call them tomorrow, see what's
Okay.
going on.
all right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Okay,
Good luck.
Have a good night.
you too.
Take care.
We got one left.
No?
You want to recall Curry Honda?
Are they here?
Curry Honda?
Nope.
Who's here?
Williams delivers in Terry, but where, I don't think Freedom or Curry Honda is it.
There's no one here for Curry Honda.
Okay.
Who are you?
Williams Relations.
All right, so I would imagine we would adjourn the public hearing on Curry Honda to a
We
later
didn't
date.
open it yet, did we?
We did
Is
open
Honda
it.
here?
No one's here. Just the
Yeah, so
installers.
I moved to adjourn
I second
that
that.
hearing.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That brings our meeting to a close. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Wow.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Boy.